The season is hotting up nicely. Hope you're having a good start to your weekend. Yeah, mad. It's been mad. This whole season already has been a whole madness, and I don't even know where to start with it, to be quite honest with you. Another crazy week of football we've got up ahead. I'm gonna do a quick one today, so I'll obviously do the rundown of last week and then predictions for this week. So, yeah, no early games this weekend either. All 3 o'clock kickoff today, and you got 2 in the evening as well, which we'll obviously get to a little bit later on. But let's go through week 5. Wolverhampton versus Liverpool. Was the opening game of that weekend. That was the early kickoff. Liverpool sort of wanting to do things the hard way at the moment. They've got a good squad, Liverpool, and I always said that their midfield would be the reason as to why they have a good season, and they have signed very, very good ballers, very good technical ballers with good legs in their midfield. So they will forever outlast you in running, because that's just what Liverpool do. Good game, Wolverhampton versus Liverpool last week. Really, really good game, and one that I thought that Wolverhampton would have a helping hand in to make it a really good game, and so it proved. But Liverpool obviously proving again as to why this season they are probably going to be the closest contenders to Man City. I see Liverpool finishing second this year. Really, really good game. Salah's on his assist bag at the moment, not necessarily getting goals, but I think that's his 4th assist in the Premier League this season already. So really, really good going from him. Yeah, not much more to say about it, to be quite honest with you. Wolverhampton probably should have had a 2-goal lead in the first half. Obviously, Cunha had a gilt-edged chance to obviously put him 2-0 up, and I don't even know what he did, like balls here, and I have no idea. Missed the target completely, headed it into the ground. Moved about 2 feet away from him. Yeah, it was downhill in the second half from that point, to be quite honest with you. But Liverpool running out comfortable winners in that game there. On to the 3 o'clock kickoffs then. Fulham versus Luton Town at Craven Cottage. Tougher game for Fulham, this one. Luton have not been good this season. I've obviously played 4. I've lost all 4 of those games. I think scoring 2 in the process. But they played a lot better. They played a lot better last week. Almost could have had a couple of goals themselves. Hit the crossbar, I believe, or was it the post? Cannot remember. I think it was Morris with a header that hit the post. So probably should have got something out of the game. But Fulham, very resolute at home. One of the toughest grounds you can go to these days under Marco Silva. They're really, really going well at the moment. Don't seem to be conceding too many, and I think Fulham are going to have a good season anyway. Luton Town, I do believe, are going to get relegated and basically just here for vibes. They don't have one quality Premier League football player in their squad, and essentially that's what's going to take you down. But we shall see. On to my beloved Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. What a game. What a game. For all the wrong reasons than the right reasons in the last 12 minutes. Battered Sheffield United pretty much all game. Battered them, had all the chances, tried to obviously play football the right way, tried to break them down. Very difficult to do, and obviously Sheffield United had a game plan of obviously trying to hit us on the break and try to score from as many set pieces as possible, and so it proved in the 76th minute. Harmer putting the ball in the back of the net from a corner that wasn't cleared by us. But then enter Richarlison. He came on in the 80th minute. And from then on, it was pretty much all him. His goal, massive for him. Obviously, he was complaining about mental sort of stress, and obviously wanting to talk to someone about it. So whoever he did speak to clearly helped him, because what a header from the corner in the 96th minute, I believe it was, 6th minute of injury time. And then a couple of minutes later, Kulusevski, I was at the game as well. Kulusevski with a finish, a shimmy and a finish off his right foot as well. Richarlison again with the assist. Fair play to Udogie as well, who was the first one to actually close, can't remember who it was, a Sheffield United player. Closed him down anyway, got the ball back, passed to Højbjerg into Richarlison. Richarlison reverse passing to Kulusevski in the area, and then Kulusevski just pretty much did the rest. 2-1 Spurs. whole stadium erupted. I felt it bounce, like the stadium was actually bouncing. Crazy scenes, which will obviously stand us in good stead for the small matter of a North London derby this weekend, which we'll obviously get to in a little while. Off to the London Stadium we go. West Ham 1, Manchester United 3. So this one was one of those games that I thought West Ham would sort of nick a point in, because West Ham have obviously been in very good form this season. But of course, this is Manchester City and this is what they do. Man City don't have to play the prettiest football all the time, but Man City do go out there and get the job done by any means necessary, and that's pretty much what they did. First half, they were pretty much anonymous. James Ward-Prowse opening the scoring with a diving header at the back post for West Ham. But then West Ham, not to say that they played worse in the second half, Manchester City just stepped up their game. And they can go up gears. Man City have gears 1, 2, going all the way up to 10 if they want to. Rev a little bit of the engine and then they are off, and that's what happened in the second half. Haaland getting on the score sheet again. They've got so many different facets of play, Manchester City. Like, they can literally cut you through the middle, they can cut you out wide. Even with the route one, if Ederson decided to obviously ping one sort of 50, 60, 70 yards from his goal line, he'll do it, and Man City will profit from it. Keep in mind, Kevin De Bruyne is not even in the team and they're cooking like this already. Only the 5th game in, and Man City are still 5-5 for wins. Again, I see City winning the league. West Ham will probably finish in the top half this season, based on the fact that their squad is so bolstered at the moment and they have really good players in there. So West Ham will have a good season, and this, I believe, was a minor setback for them. I do see them having another setback in their game this week, of course, which we'll get into. Let's go to the theatre of comedy. Old Trafford at the moment. Oh, Man United 1, Brighton 3. So this is not a shock to me, because I was one of the ones that actually said that Brighton would go there and get a victory, because they do it. They did it last season. Pascal Gross likes a goal against Man United. I also predicted him to get a goal as well, and so it proved. United are a bit of a mess at the moment. Champions League, they showed not resilience, but they show that they will keep on going forwards. But if you don't have a defence to back you, they will lose games, and they will continue to lose games until that is resolved. Amrabat should help them a little bit keep the ball. Casemiro obviously will be in there as well, but I do believe Casemiro's legs are on the wane at the moment. But he's still got the experience to pop up in certain scenarios and situations that he's needed. Yeah, Brighton were phenomenal last week at Old Trafford. It's not down to Man United being terrible. It's down to Brighton nullifying them. United went with a diamond formation, which obviously worked for the first sort of 20-25 minutes, but then Brighton sort of cottoned onto it and literally blew them out of the water thereafter, even to the point where Danny Welbeck was looking like a 20-year-old again, slotting in the first. Grolsevich got the second when he sat down Martinez, and then João Pedro got the third with an amazing finish, actually, with his wrong foot. I thought he was going to swing with his left. He actually swung it like with his right, kind of just dinked it into the corner, and on. It couldn't get there. Yeah, big problems at Man United, big problems that Ten Hag has to fix. They've got so many injury worries as well at the moment as well. I don't see things getting any better for them this weekend either. We'll get into their game obviously a little bit later on as well. Off to Villa Park, Aston Villa 3, Crystal Palace 1, and Aston Villa, again, much like Spurs, decent in the game, had a goal disallowed, and then obviously won the game in the last sort of 4 to 10 minutes. In the injury time. Crystal Palace took the lead through Edouard in the second half. And then Aston Villa came back and literally just blitzed the entire second half pretty much. Peppered Crystal Palace's goal. Duran with an absolutely, like, that finish was something else. Seriously, what a goal that was. And for only 20 to have that kind of composure already, he's going to be some player. Obviously, I think it was Douglas Luiz with the penalty. I don't think that was a penalty on Ollie Watkins, I'm going to be honest. Defender got the ball first and then sort of not took out Ollie Watkins. Watkins kind of just tripped over, fell over him. So they're saying it was because of the follow through, which I don't agree with, because the defender did actually touch the ball first if you look closely. And then obviously to round things off, Leon Bailey got the third standard procedure at the time. Crystal Palace heads were down, and an easy finish for him at the back post as well. Newcastle 1, Brentford 0. This victory puts Newcastle back on track. First win in 3, I believe it was, against a really resolute Brentford team. But this is what Brentford do. Everywhere Brentford go, they'll make it a game. And Newcastle were definitely in one. Newcastle getting a win via a Callum Wilson penalty. Great penalty it was as well. No one is stopping that. Newcastle started the season a little bit wishy-washy. Obviously, 5th game in. I think they've won 2 now, lost the other 3. Which isn't sort of, the form you'd want of a Champions League club. They got a decent draw in Milan midweek at the San Siro as well. A good 0-0 draw there, which stands them in good stead for that group of death. With PSG and Dortmund, I believe, the other team in there. Also, not much to really go on with regards to the game. I thought it would be a midfield battle, and so it proved to be. No midfields really came out on top. Newcastle almost smothered what Brentford were going to do. Brentford didn't really have much in front of goal. I think they had about 2 clear-cut chances, with maybe one of them they should have scored by Jan Wissa. But other than that, there wasn't really much to go off with regards to Brentford. Newcastle did nullify them quite well. Like I said, the midfielder of Guimaraes, Joe Linton, I believe, played as well. We're along with Tonali. It's standing itself in good stead, and they will obviously gel a lot better this season as the season wears on. On to Super Sunday. Bournemouth, well, it wasn't much of a Super Sunday, to be fair. It was quite crusty, to be quite honest with you. But Bournemouth versus Chelsea, that was from the Vitality Stadium. Again, not much to really go off there. The only highlight of the game is the fact that it finished. Raheem Sterling hit the underside of the crossbar in the middle of the post as well. Had a goal ruled out. Colwell was offside. Didn't really offer much else after that. Jackson still finding his feet. Bournemouth played well to a certain extent. Obviously defended very, very well as well. I feel like that was what Bournemouth wanted. They didn't really set out all gung-ho looking to win the game. Had a couple of chances, none clear-cut. Solanke probably should have won the game for them. And Conor Gallagher had a really good chance as well to put Chelsea ahead in the first half, but a great save from the keeper at the time as well. So another disappointing draw for Chelsea, another disappointing draw for Pochettino. It's tough to see where Chelsea are going to pick up their next win from, because their next set of fixtures are horrendous, and that does start this weekend as well. Again, another thing we will get into. Second game of Super Sunday, Everton versus Arsenal, Goodison Park. Good stomping ground for Everton, obviously, against Arsenal in previous seasons. And so it proved again, it might have been one of those days where if Everton were a little bit more confident, they probably would have won the game. But as it shows, Arsenal, I wouldn't necessarily say it's their resilience. It's the fact that Arsenal just have better players, smarter players. The goal was very, very clever. Trossard with the finish. Really, really good goal as well, if I'm being really honest. Everton didn't really have an answer for them. Good in spurts, but in terms of keeping the ball, non-existent. Everton's defence will always try. Pickford obviously made a couple of really good saves as well. But ultimately, Arsenal was just better than them. It came down to personnel in the end and who was more intelligent. And so it proved to be Arsenal with that Trossard goal. So Arsenal continue their fine start to the season, along with Spurs, 13 points each, both unbeaten. So that could all change, obviously, in the Super Sunday tomorrow. Monday Night Football was Nottingham Forest versus Burnley from the City Ground. Again, really, really good game from Burnley, actually. I thought Burnley were excellent, and I thought they deserved to win the game. Nottingham Forest, though, incredible goal through Callum Hudson-Odoi. Lyle Foster had a goal ruled out for, was it handball? I think Sander Berger handled it before he placed it across. But no, really, really, really good game. I thought Burnley were really good on the ball. Zamduni, very, very good striker. And they got an Italian winger called Coliosho. Really, really exciting player. Reminds me of Nonto as well. But I like this Coliosho guy a lot. Really, really good, really quick, can take players on. I love players that can actually run at players, take them on and beat them with a little bit of skill. And this guy, Coliosho, does that in abundance. And he was the one that got the assist for Zamduni to obviously open the scoring for Burnley. Of course, Nottingham Forest in the second half, getting the equaliser through Callum Hudson-Odoi. And it didn't really offer much else after that. I thought Awonyi was a bit anonymous, even though he did obviously set up Callum Hudson-Odoi. I thought Morgan Gibbs-White could have given more. Obviously, if Brendan Johnson was still there, they might have had more of a threat up top. But as it stood, I thought it might have been a game that was going to end up as a draw or maybe a Nottingham Forest win. So Burnley did well to go there and pick up a point. So that is a roundup of game week 5. We're on to the predictions of game week 6. We will start with the 3 o'clocks today. Manchester City kick off against Nottingham Forest, and I've gone with a 4-0 win with an Erling Haaland brace. I don't see Manchester City changing too much for the Champions League winning midweek. Julian Alvarez will probably start again, along with Haaland. I believe Foden will probably start also. Rodri will start. Yeah, there won't be much change with regards to that. Nottingham Forest still kind of trying to work it out. They won't get relegated this season, obviously, but they're still sort of getting a first 11 together. And, you know, to try to find the right sort of philosophy against a team like Man City away from home is not the way to go. So they're going to have to obviously be really, really solid and compact. I just don't see them holding out. So 4-0 to Manchester City today. Crystal Palace versus Fulham. Nice London derby there from Selhurst Park. And I'm going with a Crystal Palace 2-1 win. Just based on the fact that it's a home game for Palace. Fulham do travel well away, actually, to be fair. But I just think Palace have a little bit too much for Fulham, and they are playing really well under Roy Hodgson at the moment. Luton Town versus Wolverhampton. That is live today from Kenilworth Road. Luton need to get points on the board as quickly as possible, and I think this might be one of those games that they can actually do it. I am going to go for a 1-1 draw here. I think Wolverhampton are a very decent side, but I do believe they don't score enough goals, and I think that's the way to let Luton into the game. I think Luton may take the lead today. I think the crowd will be a massive, massive factor for them, and I go with a 1-1 draw. Brentford versus Everton, live from the G-Tech Stadium. It's a formality Brentford win for me. It's 2-1 to Brentford here. That's one of the late kickoffs tonight. Everton, I just can't see them going to Brentford and picking up a positive result. I just don't think it's going to happen. So we'll go with a Brentford win there. And I do believe Johan Visser and Burma are going to be on the score sheets today. Tonight, 8 o'clock kickoff, will go to Turf Moor. Big game for Man United in regards to their season and where it's about to be headed. I don't think Burnley under the lights is a game they're going to like too much. Burnley are one of those physical teams that play really, really good football and are very, very quick, especially in counter transitions as well through the midfield, as I mentioned before. Koleosho on the wing, and they do have a really good striker in Zamduni who will strike at will. I will go with a Burnley 2-1 win, only because of the fact that Man United's confidence is a little bit shattered. I know they scored 3 goals in Bayern during midweek, but that's not enough to sway me. Bayern Munich obviously took their foot off the gas and obviously took off important players before Man United's sort of mini revival, if you like. I found it more lucky than anything else that United obviously got those 3 goals. But I do think Burnley are going to be ready for them. And I think Burnley do take this 2-1 tonight for their first win of the season. Tomorrow, Super Sunday will start with Arsenal versus Spurs, but we'll go to Chelsea versus Aston Villa first from Stamford Bridge, sorry, not Villa Park. Aston Villa, I think we'll go there, and I think Aston Villa score 2. I'm going to go with a Chelsea 1, Aston Villa 2 scoreline. Because Chelsea are just pants at the moment. Aston Villa will exploit really, really good spaces. I know Aston Villa last time in the Premier League in their away fixture, they lost 3-0 to Liverpool, but Liverpool are just a different level to Chelsea at the moment. Chelsea are still sort of figuring it all out at the moment, and it's not looking good for them at the minute. And a game against Aston Villa, a team that are really, really good throughout, sort of, you know, backs to fronts. They do keep the ball very well. Chelsea do not want to chase this game because Villa are one of those teams that will pick holes. And they are very capable of getting a couple, and I do believe they'll get that. I'll go with an Aston Villa away win 2-1 at Chelsea. North London derby, live from the Emirates, that on. Arsenal v Spurs, I will be locked in. So this one, I've been going back and forth in my mind about what the result's going to be. Obviously, our results there have not been the best. I think we've won 1 game in the last 30 there, which leads me to believe that Arsenal will obviously take 3 points. I just think this is one of the most hotly anticipated North London derbies in a very long time, based on the fact that both of these teams are going in with really good confidence and are playing very, very well. This ain't the same Spurs that Arsenal played last season. Spurs will go there and get goals. Arsenal will probably get a couple as well. Banking on the fact that Arsenal obviously played midweek, 1-0 against PSV. Maybe there might be a little bit of tiredness there. Keep in mind, Spurs have had a whole week to prepare for this game. So it's not going to be easy pickings for Arsenal at all. And I'm pretty certain Andrew will have a plan. I am going to go with a 2-2 draw. Obviously, I'm going to be hoping for more. But I'm going to go with a 2-2 draw. I cannot pick these two apart at the moment. And I do believe both of their zeros are going to stay at where they're at the moment. Obviously, I'd love us to go there and smash them, but I don't think that will happen. The crowd will be up for that, and we'll have to see. We'll have to wait and see. Looking forward to it though. Liverpool versus West Ham. Again, Liverpool I do see winning this. This is at Anfield on a Sunday afternoon. Same result, I think, for me that Liverpool had last time out against Aston Villa at Anfield. Liverpool will win this 3-0 at a canter. I just feel like Liverpool again have a lot of players that are really in good form at the moment and striking at the right times. West Ham, not to say they don't have a really, really good squad, and they've got a great chance of going to Anfield and obviously upsetting the apple cart. I just can't see it. And I think I will go with the Liverpool 3-0 win. I don't see West Ham scoring a goal either. Brighton versus Bournemouth. That's another 2 o'clock kickoff. This one down by the beach. Bournemouth are used to beaches. They've got one of their own. I just feel like Brighton, after their midweek annoyance, they lost to AEK Athens, I believe it was. Lost them 3-2. Bit of a ding-dong game, that one. AEK scored first, Brighton scored. AEK scored, Brighton scored. AEK scored, and Brighton didn't have no response for them thereafter that. Brighton will bounce back, though. I think Brighton take this game 3-1. They're just very, very good at home in the Amex, and I do believe Evan Ferguson is back from his illness, so he'll be in the squad ready and waiting to get onto the score sheet again. And the final game of game week 6 is Sheffield United versus Newcastle. That is Super Sunday, the second game at 4:30, live from Bramall Lane. I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw there. Sheffield United, dirty side. I saw that firsthand against us last week. We'll try every trick in the book to nick a point, and Sheffield United will score a goal, I believe, at Bramall. I don't think Newcastle have hit top formers yet, which leads me to believe that they will concede and probably will nick a goal back themselves. But I don't see it being a high goal scoring game. I will go with a 1-1 draw there as well. That concludes my week. I'm going to be at a kickboxing event all day. I'm not going to tell you where, obviously, but I will be keeping an eye out on the football. Keep in mind, I will be going live as well if we do go ahead and slap Arsenal tomorrow. But whatever you're doing this weekend, enjoy it. I believe the sun is out. It's a little bit colder, but this is quite crisp. I do quite like it. And I'll see you next week for a brand new video in a bit.